My sister-in-law always had problems with conceiving, and she was super helpful to me through my pregnancy. Now, I just came back from a date with my husband, and her chest was in my baby's mouth. I found my sister-in-law trying to nurse my baby and everyone is defending her. So for a bit of context, my 27F brother's wife, 28F, has never been able to conceive, and they have had problems with it for years. My sister-in-law and I used to get along well, but it wasn't perfect because most of the time my brother and his wife have been together. I've been pregnant, they're newly married. Right after their wedding, I found out my husband and I are expecting our first child. We've always wanted kids, so when we announced the news 2 months later, my sister-in-law was really excited, and we were all happy. Skipping ahead a few months, my sister-in-law has been a big help. She's been helping around the house, bringing me things and such. We were really thankful for her. She also enjoyed rubbing my belly, but I thought that's what people like to do. It wasn't until they started suggesting names that I got suspicious, but I brushed it off. Fast forward to the birth of the baby. Finally, I had my baby, and it had been 2 months. My sister-in-law loved spending time with her. I understood, she couldn't have children, and I thought she was happy, so I was happy too. One day, my husband suggested we go on a date since it had been months since we had one. I agreed, so we asked my sister-in-law to babysit, and she happily agreed. However, halfway through our date, my husband got called into work. He has a job where he gets called in at random times, so it's normal. He said goodbye, and we went our separate ways. When I got home, I went to the nursery and saw my sister-in-law with her hand down my child's throat. I screamed, and she quickly stopped. I was furious. I took my baby and told her to leave immediately. Now everyone is blowing up my phone, telling me to forgive her since she couldn't be a mom. It was a heated moment, and my baby wouldn't stop crying, but I'm firm. I never want her near my baby again. What should I do? I'm so confused right now. My husband is torn. He agrees it was wrong, but he also understands where she's coming from. I'm losing it. You can't trust her with your kid. I wouldn't let anyone who's defending her babysit in the future. They might invite her over when you're not around. Do they know exactly what she did? I'm not really sure. I'll try to explain it to them, but I'm not sure if she told everyone a different story. I told my brother he needs to get his wife help, and they won't be allowed near my child. But thank you so much. Only pregnant women lactate, or unless there's a legit medical reason for it. What's wrong with your family? Ask them why they think it's okay for your sister-in-law to put her nipples in your baby's mouth when 1, she isn't the mother, and 2, she isn't even producing breast milk, which just makes it even weirder. She's trying to have a motherly bond with your baby. Keep your baby away from her. Minor correction, pregnant women don't lactate. Their chests get bigger, but the milk doesn't come in until after birth. But yeah, my sister-in-law wasn't doing anything for the benefit of the baby, only herself. Just that mindset is enough to keep her away from the baby forever. Thank you. My sister-in-law has been pregnant but has lost the baby numerous times. I'm not sure why she thought she could nurse. I hate to say this, but it's entirely possible this may not have even been the first time, I don't know. Tread carefully. I haven't even thought of that. I'm mad just thinking that she has been doing this behind my back because I've been at my mother-in-law's house, and it could have happened since my brother and his wife are over there a lot of the time. Heat of the moment? Did she say that for real? So gross. I would go no contact for life. Yes, she did, and it makes me mad. Who would do that? I told my brother his wife needs to get help because it's not okay, especially when not only she is saying that, but my husband's family and others are telling me to forgive her because she can't have children and she promised to never do it again. But I'm not buying it. Update 1. So I talked to my husband about this whole situation, and I told him that his sister needs help. I also told him I wanted to take this to the police, but he isn't open to the idea, although I'm really considering it. For the moment, my baby and I have decided to stay with my grandma. I really just need time for myself and my baby. I'm getting my husband to set up cameras while I'm away. All of this is really overwhelming. I forgot to mention, but my sister-in-law found my post, and now she is blowing up my phone and my close friends on social media. I'm going to sit down and talk with them tonight. We've arranged to have dinner, and I am leaving my baby with a trusted friend who has kids of her own. I hope they understand where I'm coming from when I tell them that she needs to get help, or I am going to the police. I was reading the comments on my post, and I want to thank you all for the support. Someone told me to watch The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and I watched it, and it was really like my situation, and I also really enjoyed it. Some people think that this isn't real. I really wish it wasn't, I truly do, but this is pretty much what's happened right now. My daughter is napping, and I just need some time to think. My grandma is a huge blessing. I will update if anything important happens. I am leaving my baby with a trusted friend. Tomorrow's post, I caught my trusted friend trying to nurse my baby. No, I trust her because she doesn't breastfeed, but if she were, then I trust she would call me or tell me in advance. We've been friends since high school, and I trust she wouldn't do that. You don't need your husband's permission to make a police report, and you always have the option not to press charges if she gets help after you've done this. I wouldn't count on your husband to participate in bringing consequences to his own sister. Just call the police. Don't even let him know you've done so until it's done. My fiancé and I left a little late for our road trip, and he snapped at me on the road. Now, I found out he cheated on me, and I hope he has fun snapping at whoever he wants because it won't be me anymore. My fiancé, 39M and I, 31F, have been together 3 years and living together for 2. He gets really angry sometimes, which has caused problems before, but otherwise, he's a great partner. He cooks, I clean, and we both have jobs. We're also best friends. We like spending our free time together, going on road trips, trying new foods, or just hanging out. He has a temper, especially when driving. He's gotten mad at small things, followed someone home twice because of bad driving, and often speeds through traffic. He punched a hole in a closet door once after a tough day at work, but he said sorry afterward. He used to tell me to leave when we argued, but we've worked on it, and he's much better now. He tried anger management, but it didn't fit with his work schedule. He's more open about his feelings now. Other than that, he's a loving goofball who treats me well. He'd do anything for me if I asked. It's like he's a different person sometimes. Now, about what happened. We were leaving for a holiday, planning to drive 12 hours, so we decided to leave at 3 a.m. He said he hadn't slept well, and I took too long to get ready. I admit I forgot some things, and we ended up leaving late. About an hour later, we stopped at a service station to grab a quick bite. I don't remember much about the conversation, but suddenly his meat pie leaked on his shirt, and he got really mad. He tore his shirt like the Hulk and threw it out the window. Then he started speeding, looking really angry. I was scared. It was a dark road, and he was driving way too fast, ignoring me when I asked him to stop. Eventually, he slammed on the brakes, making all our stuff in the back fly forward. He looked at me and said, "There," before speeding off again, even faster. I was too scared to say anything else, afraid we might crash. He stopped not long after and asked me to drive because he wanted to rest. He woke up 2 hours later and didn't mention what happened. It was about an hour after he woke up when he said sorry, mentioning he was really tired. I'm shocked. He doesn't seem to think it was a big deal. It's been 2 days, and we've just moved on. He says nothing serious happened and he knows how to drive safely, so why would he put himself in danger? I need some advice. I'm starting to doubt our relationship because of this. I'm scared to tell my friends because I'm afraid of their judgments. I still have 4 more days of this trip, and since many of you advise caution, I'll wait until I get home to do anything. You've all convinced me to tell my sister and brother what's happening. They live in the same city. Thank you again for your help. I feel shaken. I never thought it was abuse, I just thought he needed help and support. I'm sorry you're going through this. Deep down, you know it's more than him being quick to anger. He's shown some really scary behaviors, and he doesn't want to deal with his feelings in a good way. It won't get better. It might get even more confusing as your brain tries to understand how someone who's nice and sweet can also be so violent. He says sorry to stop you from leaving. People who hurt others often do this. Please listen to us. Don't ignore what you feel deep inside, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you're in danger. Talk to your family and friends. You need to keep yourself safe. If you stay with him, he might hurt you again. I'm shocked by these comments. I never thought of it as abuse. I thought he just had a problem we could work on. My friends and family like him, and I never told them about this side of him. But now I realize I kept it from them because I knew what they'd say. He's not a good partner or person. He doesn't care about you. I need you to know that. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's really important you understand he doesn't care about you. He puts you in dangerous situations and doesn't even stop when you're scared. Then he tries to embarrass you when you call him out. You need to leave. This man is not good for you. Your life will be better without him. You don't get a prize for suffering. I know you've put a lot into this relationship, but he's not even kind to you. You deserve at least kindness. I'm struggling to understand how the man who cried when we picked our first dance song, who says I'm the best woman he's ever met and that he feels lucky to have me, who cuddles me and rubs my back when I'm sore, can also be abusive. His mom said he gets really angry, and their fights are worse than anything we've had. She hugged me and cried when I got him to go to anger management because she's been trying for years. His sister didn't talk to him before, but since I've been with him, they've gotten close again. She says I seem to calm him down a lot. I'm starting to wonder why I never thought about what he was like before me. Maybe the longer we're together, the more that side of him comes out. I'm just really sad. Update 1. It's been a while since my first post, and a lot has happened. The end of the relationship was like a wild story on TV. I spent nights in bed next to him on our holiday, reading Lundy Bancroft's book, and I was shocked. All the comments were so eye-opening, even if I didn't want to believe it was that serious. Many things were hitting home. Many things I didn't think of as good were happening, but these were things I wasn't telling friends or family about. I was protecting him from anyone knowing what he was really like. A part of the book talked about cheating and people who hurt others as one type that matched a lot of my partner's qualities. I thought I was confused, but over a week after we got home from our holiday, he got home from work, we had dinner, and he went to shower. So, I checked his phone. I kept doing this for quite a few nights, gathering evidence. He has been cheating on me with lots of different women over the last 3 years, and currently, there's one woman who knows all about me and likes to talk about how not nice I am with him. Lots of things he thought he deleted got saved in the Messenger archives. Eventually, one of those nights, I confronted him when he was coming to bed. He told me he was too tired to talk about it and that I invaded his privacy and that they were just friends. I was so mad I kept pushing the conversation, talking about it more, not pushing him physically. He said he wanted to sleep, and I said if I wasn't getting any sleep, he wasn't either. He got really angry. He punched a hole in the wall, he broke our dresser, it's wrecked, he went into the kitchen and broke other things. It was scary. I was begging him to stop. Then, he said I was lucky something of his wasn't broken. I asked why. What does that mean? He said he would have made me disappear, more graphic, but I'm not sure I can post that here. I gathered my things and sneaked to my car, then went to a friend's house. He called me and said not to bother coming home. Why would I? The next day, he blamed everything on me because I wouldn't let him leave. He called me a silly person and said I messed up everything. He said I should have let him sleep and talked in the morning. I called my brothers and told them I needed to get my things. I decided it wasn't a good idea for them to come yet because I thought they would have made things worse since they were angry too. I took my sister and friend and had them wait in the car until I was sure it was safe. He wasn't supposed to be home, but he was. They said I had 5 minutes until they were coming in. I told him I'd come to get my things. He got emotional and said he never wanted me to see that side of him. I said we were finished, and he got angry again. He chased me into the garage, throwing pillows at me. He said I would regret not fighting for this. I asked him what I was fighting for because this wasn't how you treat someone you love. He started crying and said he loved me too much and needed me. He said he had been stupid and ruined everything. He said I could take what I wanted and that he would talk to me tomorrow after we've both slept. He got upset when my friend and sister came inside because he didn't know they knew. I used the chance to grab clothes, and my brothers returned for my things 2 days later. He cried on the phone, asking me to reconsider. He said he wasn't getting enough attention from me and did the wrong thing. He said he's really stressed and it all came to a head. He also told me this would happen to me again and that the devil I knew was better than any other. He begged me to come home. I stopped talking to him. 3 weeks later, he's posting pictures with another woman and saying they're in a relationship. I'm just shocked by how things turned out. Thank you to everyone who commented. This man was not good to me, and sharing here helped me. Please don't date people who get angry easily, and realize that if there's any kind of physical stuff, they could do worse. Finding out about the cheating was a big surprise. I never thought he would do that in the 3 years we were together. I feel really embarrassed about how quickly he moved on and how easily he fooled me. I'm living with my brother now. My confidence is really low, and I guess I'm starting over again. Welcome to a fresh start. Start anew, but remember the lessons learned. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. It took me 10 years. You did it in nearly 4. Actually, very close to 4. Honestly, it was still really hard to let go. I was so deeply connected to him because of the trauma. It's still a work in progress. I'm so glad you're okay. So many women don't make it out. I'm so glad you did and have a supportive network. Here's to the next chapter. I can see why. The biggest reason was that I confided in someone. It might sound silly, but once I told my friend, I couldn't take it back. Seeing her shock and concern pushed me forward. Also, the thought of how disappointed she would be if I went back. The bond was strong, and I still miss the good parts, but I know he's not a good man, and I've completely cut him out of my life. My husband got me pregnant, then shortly after started seeing someone else. Now, he's gaslighting me by saying I'm overreacting, and I'll be showing him a proper reaction by getting the police involved. It feels like a really mean joke. Years ago, before I met my husband, I was in a very bad relationship that hurt me a lot. I spent a long time in therapy, trying to make myself better and understand why I let that kind of love into my life. After that, I stayed single for a long time. When I started dating again, I made sure to watch out for any signs that things might not be right. I even took things slow when everything seemed good. I knew about love bombing because of my ex. I met my husband at a work event, and things just clicked between us. I told him about my past and how I needed to take things slow because of it. He wasn't perfect, but he was always nice, understanding, and cared about me. We dated for 5 years, got engaged for 1, and now we've been married for over 3 years. We just bought our second home together, and we both got promoted at work, so we talked about having kids. He wanted a big family, but I only wanted 1 or 2. We agreed on 2 and started trying. I got pregnant pretty quickly, and now I'm 6 months along. I'm still working, but my ankles are swollen, and my back hurts a lot. Besides that, I've been really happy and thought my husband was supportive. But 3 weeks ago, I found out he was having feelings for someone else, and maybe even doing things with them. When I showed him the proof, he admitted he didn't find me attractive while I'm pregnant. I'm really hurt. I haven't gained too much weight, and I still take care of myself, even though I'm still dealing with morning sickness. He's not sorry, and he even told me I was overreacting when I cried. He's staying with his family until he finds a place to rent. He doesn't want a divorce, he thinks we can fix things with therapy after the baby is born. But I don't want to. I can't even look at him without feeling disgusted. He texted me saying I don't have any other options because no one wants to date a single mom. I'm going to talk to a lawyer and start the process of divorcing him. Today, I just needed to get everything off my chest. For now, I'm going to order some nuggets and a Frosty from Wendy's using DoorDash. It's okay if I gain a few pounds from it. I decided to say we were emotionally close because it was mostly just talking. He was saying things to a very young, innocent woman, like how pretty she was, how he wanted to touch her, and that he loved her, but then said they never met. He'd tell her I wasn't fun anymore. There were pictures exchanged because of comments, but the pictures got deleted. I asked him about his extra work hours, but he couldn't give clear answers, which made me suspicious about physical stuff. This man started working more, like from 40 hours to 60, and even though I might be pregnant, I'm not dumb. You didn't ask, but I'll say it here because others have brought it up. I didn't expect my husband, or whatever you want to call him, to find my changing body attractive during pregnancy. It's strange, but I think it's beautiful. However, I did expect him not to call me ugly to another woman or to cheat, especially while I'm pregnant with a baby we both wanted. Why do we have to move? We bought our house together, and instead of arguing, we'll be selling it and splitting everything, or at least I hope that's what happens. Plus, I just don't want to stay here anymore. It's too big for just me, the baby, and the dog he just had to get, who's snuggled up with me in bed. Did you leave yet? I'm still in our house, but he's staying with his family until he finds another place. Update 1. I was told I couldn't change the locks because the house belonged to both of us. He came over last night, knowing I couldn't stop him. Thankfully, he only took some personal stuff, threatened to take the dogs, but didn't, and told me he emptied our shared account. Part of me didn't believe he'd do it, but I made a mental note to check once he left. Sure enough, our account only had about $5 left. He did a transfer, which I'll be talking to the bank about, and I'm seeing a lawyer this afternoon. Luckily, my dad taught me not to fully mix finances, so my savings are safe, enough to cover expenses for the next few weeks. I don't have any family left, so I think he's trying to make me feel alone and dependent on him. But it's just made me realize I don't want or need such a bad person in my life. Thank you to everyone who reached out with kind messages and advice. Update 2. I couldn't change the locks because we both own the house. I wasn't scared for my safety, just annoyed. He came to get some things, and I thought that would be it. It seemed like he was trying to upset me. He said he emptied our account, and I didn't believe him until I checked. He came over drunk the day before yesterday, begging to talk. When I ignored him and tried to leave, he got angrier and grabbed my arm. When I pulled away, he slapped me. The police were called, but I didn't have any marks on my face, so it was just my word against his. They made him leave, and now I think he's back with his parents. He argued about the dogs, and he has proof of ownership, so I guess he'll be able to take them. I went to leave for a drive to clear my head after everything, and then I realized 3 of my 4 tires were flat. I suspect it was him, but I don't have proof. Insurance won't cover it, so I'm going to a tire shop on Friday morning. It feels like just another drop in the bucket. As for the attorney, I've had my consultation, and now I'm waiting for my check to come in for my actual appointment to get the ball moving on this. There isn't any family left, and a few close friends are kept in the loop, but I don't want to burden them or treat them like unpaid therapists, so I think that's why I came back to Reddit. There's something therapeutic about just typing it all out into the void. The baby and pregnancy are okay. I've actually lost weight, and the doctor has told me to avoid stressful situations and to take things easy. I'll be calling to see if I can change the locks on the home now. If not, I'm going to start looking for places. Update 3. I changed my locks. I thought if he got the law involved, I'd use pregnancy brain and being forgetful to give him a spare set. He broke in late last night. I contacted the police before I confronted him, but because of where I live, I knew it would take a bit for them to arrive. I tried walking past him to leave the house, but every time I did, he shoved me. Once, he shoved me so hard that I stumbled and fell backward. The strange part is he never yelled or threw things. One item hit me, though, and I had to go to the emergency room for stitches. He said some really mean things, how he hated me, I should hurt myself, and how useless I was, yet he never raised his voice. I don't mean that in a good way. I wish he would have yelled. My instinct was either to fight or to flee, but I found out mine was to freeze. I hate that about myself. He was arrested, but his mother already bailed him out. I'm staying at a hotel thanks to a work advance and looking into apartments. I won't set foot in that home we shared until my best friend is here, and even then, we'll have police with us. No one can figure out what made him change almost overnight. The only thing I can guess is a psychotic break, but I'm not a therapist or doctor. Other than some ugly bruises and stitches for myself, the baby and I are fine. My lawyer thinks this is enough to get a protection order for me, including for the baby. The next time I see him will be in court. Sorry for rambling, maybe this doesn't make any sense. For now, I'm safe. I can finally sleep well for the first time in weeks. I have the dogs with me. Only one close person, and the police know where I am. Update 4. The police met me at my home to grab some personal belongings and pretty much anything else I could gather. Thanks to the user who suggested I call the non-emergency number, it was smooth sailing. He wasn't home, so I didn't have to worry about him showing up, and both officers were very kind. However, what I walked into was not very fun. It looked like he had gone on a bender. There was bleach on clothes, food everywhere, and personal belongings were just destroyed, especially in the nursery. I was able to salvage many of the bigger items and pack what I could. They're now in storage until I move into my new place. I took pictures, and as aggravating as it was, especially with the setbacks, I'm hopeful that they'll just be another thing used against him to prevent custody. As for him, he has no way of contacting me except through his attorney or email, and it's been quiet on both ends. His parents have not reached out, and I don't even know what I'd say to them if they tried, so there's no loss there. His girlfriend, yes, girlfriend, as I found out, has been trying to contact me via friends to let me know she's pregnant. I'm unsure if that's true or not, but at the very least, it confirms the affair and how well he kept things hidden. I'm safe, I'm good, although pregnancy is the only thing kicking my butt. My husband flew out on his own because a family vacation was too expensive for us. Now, I hope he's ready for the divorce that I'll be getting on my own too. My husband and I have been married for 12 years, and we have 2 kids together, one of whom has special needs. We live near my hometown in Europe, while his family resides across the US. In the past, we managed to visit them once a year, but with the recent increase in living costs and the added expense of traveling with 2 kids, it's become more challenging. I wish we could afford to visit his family at least twice a year. It's tough seeing my husband miss his loved ones, especially when his depression worsens. Last year, he felt the need to go home, but we couldn't afford for all of us to travel, and I didn't have any more vacation days left. We ended up arguing about the duration of his trip. I suggested a week and a half, but he wanted longer. Eventually, he booked a trip for 2 weeks and 4 days without consulting me, which caused frustration. During his trip, I had to rearrange my work schedule, working night shifts and 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. I also took care of our kids alone after work, barely getting any sleep at night. By the time he returned, I was exhausted and still upset about how he handled the trip. It was evident that his apology was more about ending the argument than genuinely feeling remorse. The most difficult part was not being able to afford a trip for the kids or any summer activities. A few months ago, my husband mentioned wanting to visit his brother and his family in Hawaii. I told him it would be nice, but we couldn't afford the $5,000 plane tickets, and I didn't have vacation time when he wanted to go. He considered going alone, but I expressed my inability to handle more than a week without him. Although he was upset, he understood and didn't push the issue. I also emphasized the importance of saving money for the trip and not using all our vacation funds. My husband works tirelessly, often without informing me of his plans or when he'll be home, leaving me feeling like a single mom. Despite his constant work, he rarely helps around the house or with the kids. While he does earn a significant amount each month, our incomes are similar, with him occasionally earning more. Meanwhile, I have a demanding full-time job. A week ago, he asked me which 2 weeks to book tickets for a trip, but I reminded him that I had only agreed to 1 week. He became upset, arguing that 1 week isn't enough, and that the $1,300 ticket wouldn't be worth it. He's asked me multiple times since then. Tonight, he informed his entire family, including his parents who are also flying down, that he's not going. It leaves me feeling unreasonable. Am I wrong for denying him the 2 weeks in Hawaii? Should I suggest he go for 2 weeks during the summer when I'm off, or should I plan a family trip instead? Your husband is being incredibly selfish. If the roles were reversed, how would he react? You make a valid point. He fears not having enough money. He might expect me to do more around the house and with the kids, but would likely allow me to work as much as I wanted for our financial comfort. He's a generous man and would probably encourage me to go on a trip, expecting the same opportunity for himself. This is just my opinion, but if my husband did this a second time, it would be over for me. I would use that time to file for divorce, letting him know his belongings will be boxed up and put into storage. I can't imagine being married to someone like this. Update 1. A little over a week ago, I received a message on Messenger from someone I don't know. They told me that my spouse has been sending inappropriate messages to their girlfriend and suggested they might be more than just friends. Apparently, they saw my spouse calling her hello beautiful, offering to buy her flowers, and even giving her massages. This all went down the day before Valentine's Day. On that day, the kids and I were out shopping for gifts for their dad. When we got home, he asked if someone had contacted me earlier. I tried to brush off his question, trying to keep it together for the kids. Once the kids were asleep, we had a heart-to-heart. He admitted that he had joked with her after posting a photo of the flowers he got me for Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. She had commented that she never received flowers, and he said those things I was told by the stranger. I asked to see the messages, and he showed me the recent ones where she scolded him for his words. But I wanted to see more, so I scrolled up to read from the beginning. I scrolled quickly and found messages dating back to 2020. There was a photo he took of her in her underwear, which bothered me. I understand that as a professional photographer, these kinds of photo shoots are common. But I've expressed my discomfort with them before. Seeing this upset me. He grabbed the phone from my hands, saying it was from a long time ago. He refused to let me see more, comparing it to how he would never ask to see my phone. We had a lengthy conversation about our marriage. I mentioned divorce, and we talked about the changes we both felt were necessary. He was open about his desire to work through his past in therapy. He agreed to couples therapy and individual therapy to address his upbringing. I'm not sure if we'll ever return to how things were before, but we're trying. Since then, he's been making an effort to improve, but lately, it seems like he's slipping back into old patterns. He mentioned a coworker who's friends with a person who messaged me. Apparently, this coworker joked about sleeping with all his models, and my husband thinks his friend took it seriously. We haven't discussed it further, and I've chosen to trust him and move on, mostly for the kids' sake. He's never given me a reason to doubt him before this. 2 days ago, he brought up the Hawaii trip. I decided to let him extend it from 7 to 10 days. I know some people might have left or told him off, but I agreed to let him go in September. He opened up about his declining mental health, and I want the kids to have their dad around, so I saw it as the best solution. That way, it won't interfere with our family vacation like last time. He agreed and booked his ticket, but he messed up and won't get a refund for another 4 to 6 weeks. Who knows how much it will cost by then? Maybe it's karma? I feel like I'm being too trusting. I know I should probably push for more changes, but I'm hopeful that therapy will help us work through this together.